Hi, my name is Niara Selah Singleton, and I just wanted to come on here. I sound like everybody because that's what I just wanted to come on here. Okay. Hi. Hi, my name is Niara Selah Singleton, and I have some things I want to say, and I'm going to say them and record them because I think they're good thoughts. And you might like it, and you might find something in it that you agree with or relate to or that you disagree with. Here is what I have to say. I have some thoughts on life, perspective on life, and the world that we live in. Um, if you haven't noticed, in today's world, in the Western world, which would be the US, Canada, and like South America, we have been oh, and Europe, of course. We kind of have this mindset that is very up and down and hierarchical and like a staircase climbing up to. And the top is goodness and success. The bottom is unworthiness, and which can be linked to other depictions. I say all this to say that I think it's time we stop agreeing with that. It hasn't been a model that's worked in our brains ever. It only leads to false sense of happiness and selfishness, and it leads to depression. It leads to low self-confidence and all of those nasty, ugly things because it's just against how we're made. Unfortunately, we live in a fallen world, so that kind of lifestyle is very enticing. We like the structures that we've created. But I believe that there is a better way. And though this might not be the better way, I think it's a fun way and at least is a good concept to think about when it comes to how our lives are structured. So I have a pencil because we make mistakes, so we draw in pencil. And if you're not able to see it, then I'll draw in pen. But this is going to be my demonstration pad, um, representing how our minds have been taught to conceptualize reality. A side note, reality is something that we will never fully have the grasp of because we live in it. We can study history as much as we want and we can project into the future as much as we can, but there is no way for us to truly understand the fabric that we live in. I'm a person of faith. I believe in Jesus. I believe that he gives us great, 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 great plans. He gives us great outlook. He gives us perspective. And I also think that this perspective increases over time, that we receive more and more revelation of him. And through our beholding of him, we understand this fabric even clearer and our illusions fall away. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. If you have read scripture, you might have seen the scripture. This is a loose paraphrase, and it says that what sin is, what it does, is that it makes us enemies of God in our own minds. In our own minds, there is a belief that our minds hold what reality looks like for us. So each person is technically living in a different reality. Freud has explained this in certain areas in his own way, and we've been able to see that in our own lives. That two people can see the same news article about let's see protesters that have that what is it called, like a non-violent protest turned into a riot that maybe ended with destruction of property. Two different groups of people, three different groups of everybody can look at the same information. Granted, it is a story written by a person with their own influence, but can look at the same piece of information and see it in varying ways because we all have the exact same reality. But even if you weren't there, so there's that. So in our own minds, that means that in our own heads, in head, heart, soul, mind, body, will, emotions, it means different things to us in living in the West with heavy influence of enlightenment and scientific method ideals than the Jewish culture of the ancient world. you know, Greek culture when it's being told and it's been translated. So bear with me because all these words have different meanings amongst themselves, only further proving my point. In our minds, we believe we're separated from Jesus, and that is not true. Sin makes us really believe that. We have stories in our mind, we have reasonings in our mind, pictures and like video on the screen of our eyes. The screen thing is not my own creation. That's like a thing that people have told me, people in my life. But in the screen in our mind, we see things that aren't necessarily true, but they're a reality. Back to the model. So I want to talk about this. It's just going to be a straight line. So I'm going to draw that. Okay, so you're seeing this left, right. I'm like wondering what side of the page I should draw it on. Let's try this. I'll draw it on my right side and we'll read right to left in true ancient world fashion. But it might be left to right for you. You can see it, period. Okay. Oh, the light's bouncing. This is how we see things. Okay, so up and down. Up is good. Up is heaven. Up is God. Up is success. Up is worthiness. Or you can think of it as up is top of caste system. No, I don't know a thing about the caste system. Okay, I only know what I've been taught. I've been in a few classes where it was briefly mentioned by people who also don't know what they're talking about. So bear with me. Up is hierarchy. It is the top of the triangle, blah. Down is hell, down is demons. Down is depression, down, sadness. I'm feeling down, down. So down is general badness. That's how we see down. Okay. Now, some people also put people on a scale. Good people up here, bad people down here. Saints, criminals, for example. Or everyone that likes me, everyone that doesn't like me. People who agree with what I agree with. People who don't agree with what I agree with. Literally anything. Like, it's genuinely varied person to person, which is the point. So with this mindset, I'm really disappointed in it. I'm coming from a space of career, and it's hard to reconcile life because we live in a global world, which is, I'm saying the same thing twice, a global world, obviously. But there's other people that live here besides Westerners. So if I'm able to scroll on Instagram all day, there's a person in my house. There they go. If I'm able to scroll on Instagram, if I'm able to scroll on Instagram all day, go to college, go outside, laugh with my friends, buy matcha every week. But there's someone across the globe who is dying from illness, lacking health care that they need desperately, who doesn't have food and is raising a family, who is miles away from water, or not even across the globe, If I'm able to do this where I am in my country and there's people in it, or in my state, and there's people in another state whose water has been off for weeks, it is very hard for me to reconcile my reality with that reality because our truth is the same. So let me not say that, but our reality does not align. So what do we make of that? Obviously, all of this is like, I don't want to say metaphysics. What's that word? I put one shoulder up, I put the other shoulder up. But it's all relative. Oh, I think that's what I was looking for. It's all relative. Because if everyone in the whole world's doing something, does that give me, I mean, doing well, has a great, what's it called? Not the cost of living, welfare. The welfare is up, welfare and their prosperity. If everyone in the world's doing great, then does that give me permission to freely do things that are fun, entertaining, blah, 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 blah. Let me stop beating around the bush and get to the point of this video, because I've summarized some thoughts that have been summarized and given to me. All in all, what I want to put across is that I don't want to get lost living in my up and down life of success and failure, career, boss lady, independent person with family, husband, career, fitness goals, Instagram. Like, I don't want to be stuck on this ladder when there's literally people around who aren't even able to even want this bad notion of a ladder, if that makes sense. Okay, so as you can probably tell, I do not like this. This is harmful. We live in a global world, okay? We live in a world that's shared by people. This is not an actual graph. Maybe I should have put a little bit more thought into this. But I like being off the dome as well as putting thought into things. But obviously, it's probably going to look like a circle, you know? Whoa, that's an eyeball. Eyeball. Okay. One moment. So I need to erase that. I need to actually draw when it's in my lap because that was funny. Literally drew an eyeball. Okay. I love making videos. Okay, let's see. What would it look like? Well, I think it would look something like circles with arrows on it. I think it would have offshoots. I think it would have branches, tufts of grass. I think it will have blooming parts. Oh, I don't know how to draw well yet, so. Make like Mowgli and bear with me. So this is what I made. And listen, I said I didn't know how to draw. But okay, I started with the circle and I figured it'd have arrows going in different directions, and I made like a little tuft of grass. I don't really know what that is. Those are lines. And a flower. It's a circle garden, okay? That's the metaphor. But it's not so much nicer than this. This is stupid, bad, and wrong. Okay. Okay, tell me when tell me of a moment when you felt really, really grateful and joyous and silly, goofy, and glad to be there. At literally any moment. It doesn't have to be monumental. Do you have it? It's okay. My moment, and all the moments I can think of as examples, all involve people and activity, and most of all, relationship, connection. I believe that the world is built. No, I believe that Jesus' world is connection. I think it always has been. And I think that as time goes on, we'll get more revelation on that. But I think what we know now to be true is that God is three in one. And he made us to love and live in connection with each other and with him. The up and down world is lonely. It is a one-person road. You drag people along when they're useful, and you release them like a heavy bag. But the connection world is that relativity, and it is relating to another person. It is carrying their burdens, is having their burdens carried by you. Nope, carrying their burdens, them carrying your burdens. It is the joy in being with another person silently, expressing. It is making something. It is creativity. Creativity tends to be a union sport. And yeah, that's what kind of world I want to live in. One where other people make the world. But I totally not but also I totally understand how addicting the mindset of capitalism is. I'm not a, what is it? What do they call those people? Fascists, socialist, blue hair. Shut your mouth. just be making myself laugh at this point. I'm not like, I don't have any agenda except the Jesus agenda. But no political agenda. Genuinely. Genuinely. So when I say those words, try not to be triggered into some sort of belief. Just for a moment. I am just saying that I say capitalism, I mean business-centered, where people are extracted and it becomes money consumer, money or internet user, buy, sell. These words don't have, it literally doesn't involve a person at all. We talk about things like computers taking over our jobs, AI doing things for us, blah, 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 blah. And I believe those are excellent offshoot examples or analogies for, what's that word? Not analogy, but where it's like a story used. Okay, maybe analogy. But it is a great example of our total like culture where people are not needed for business to happen. Obviously, practically people are needed for business to happen. What I'm saying is that we as a society, Western society, have kind of made mistakes. And our mistake was that we stopped living for each other. We stopped living from God and for God and for the people around us. And we started living for business. And we aren't made to live for things that are not alive. That's all I have to say. My AC just turned on. We are not made to live for things that are not alive because we die in the process. So if you feel a certain type of way about AI, and maybe you're like, I don't like AI because they're taking our jobs. Yeah, because we made that. We made something that can essentially do what a human can do, obviously to the extent that we've done it. Because once we create something else, AI is going to be like, input that into the system so I can do it. But this is not coming across. If it's not coming across, that is okay. Because I believe I made my point without the analogy. But I don't want to live for a system anymore. I don't want to go on Instagram and be fed ads because I'm not a person, I'm a user. I don't want to be called a consumer. Child, what? Or we come up with these really fun ideas. Like we get excited about the initiative. Like we're like, oh, I want to start a business so I can join into this up and down system and I'll have my place and then it's a nice order and blah, and things will happen because it's a nice ordered set of things that we have made, therefore we can grasp, and it's all in our control. And it's all our doing. And it's us deciding what's good and evil from our subjective perspectives and our realities that differ from the person beside us. We can't all know good and evil and the difference. We need the Lord, y'all. We need to live life, not live death, if that makes sense. Well, I have a lot to say on this matter because it's one of my favorite topics. And I am praying for this world because our society works. Business works, okay? You make a business, it gets really popular, you sell it to somebody else, you make a ton of money, blah, 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 blah. The people involved, who cares if they're eating freaking tar, petroleum, and cigarettes? I don't know. Who cares? You're making money, you're going up, and you have your family, you're able to provide for your family. It's gonna. What if we're okay with having what we have? What if we are okay being inconvenienced? Ouch. Because that's at me. What if we're okay, like, what if we're okay doing things ourselves and relying on the Lord instead of relying on ChatGPT or anything like that? I'm not dissing anyone, including myself, because I did just make a jab at myself a minute ago. Excuse me. Pardon me. All I'm saying is that I don't want to worry about my life. Jesus actually says, don't worry about your life because I won't add an hour to it. I don't want to worry about my life in the sense of the up and down because I'm at this age and now I have to get this big girl job and then I'm going to be a corporate baddie and then I'm going to find my husband, have 4 babies, get a golden retriever, live in big house, donate sometimes when it's, profitable for me, take off my taxes, and buy my mom a house. Like, just close your lips. Society, close your lips. I feel like God has more for us than we even know. And it's like a big what if. Like, what if life wasn't so and it was more like the girls who get it, and the girls who don't, zonk. So yes, maybe more garden time. Maybe more garden time. Maybe more, we have a gardener, maybe more. And God is our gardener. Capitalism is not stopping him from that. But I know that in our hearts, we don't give a flip about capitalism, okay? Yes, we have benefited from it. I have benefited from capitalism in some ways. That gave me the ick to say. I have things. I own things. Lights are in my house. I have electricity and a bus. Like, obviously. But, like, what about your soul, man? So, yes. I petition for a world that cares about one another and not only cares, lives for one another, lives with one another. That community and relationship be the source of life. well, Jesus, our source of life, that we live in a way that it's more freeing because we aren't chained to things that we created. I don't want to be a slave to capitalism. I don't want to be a slave to sin because I'm not a slave to sin, okay? Period. Anyway, it's a hard life, but it's also a freer life, so therefore it's easier. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Once again, I'm Niara Selah Singleton, and love ya. And now we mog. How do people like they like hold their cheeks in? Oh, I did it. I literally just did that.